Joe Rogan, host of the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, attracts tens of millions of people to his show. And now that might include the two presidential candidates. While appearing on Monday's Full Send podcast hosted by the Nelk Boys, a group of YouTube pranksters turned podcasters, Donald Trump suggested a future stop on Rogan's program. The #1 podcast in the country is in the works.
I think Joe Rogan has to have you on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you do that?
Oh, sure I would.
I think Joe, like, besides us, Joe's
I think I'm doing it, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So you are going to do Joe Rogan?
Yeah, I am.
Sources, meanwhile, tell Reuters Vice President Kamala Harris could also soon sit down with Rogan. Reuters reports members of Harris's campaign met with Rogan's team, but no official appearance has been scheduled. According to data from Spotify, which inked a reported $250 million deal earlier this year to distribute the Joe Rogan Experience, the show has 14.5 million followers, almost triple the second most popular program on the platform. Rogan himself has been outspoken in the past when it comes to both candidates. In 2022, he told another podcast that he was not a Trump supporter.
But by the way, I'm not a Trump supporter in any way, shape, or form. I've had the opportunity to have him on my show more than once. I've said no every time. I don't want to help him. I'm not interested in helping him.
In August, Donald Trump called out Joe Rogan on his Truth Social platform, saying the UFC commentator will get booed next time he enters the octagon. And while on his show, Rogan said Harris was better prepared for last month's presidential debate. He later issued concerns a Harris presidency would lead to more online censorship.
I don't think it turns around if Kamala Harris gets into office. I think they clamp down more. I think the same stuff that they were trying to do with Twitter, they'll try to do with something else and with other things. They've already openly discussed it.
An appearance on Joe Rogan's podcast would fall in line with both candidates' plans to reach young voters. Former President Trump has recently been a guest on a series of podcasts that cater to a younger audience, especially males. Trump has made stops on podcasts hosted by YouTuber Logan Paul, comedian Theo Von, and video game streamer Aiden Ross. Harris, meanwhile, was recently a guest on the podcast Call Her Daddy, which has a majority female audience. And she'll reach out to black voters during a town hall appearance Tuesday with radio personality and podcaster Charlamagne the God, co-host of the syndicated Breakfast Club. But it's Charlamagne's recent comments on his podcast, Brilliant Idiots, with comedian Andrew Schultz, that are showing the impact of these podcast interviews that they can have. Charlamagne telling Schultz that someone came up to him after Trump appeared on Schultz's other podcast, Flagrant.
I had a young black man, 20-something years old. I'm not going to say his name. I should say his name. He comes to me this morning. He turns to me. He goes, Flagrant's gonna get Trump elected. You know who I'm talking about. You was there?
No, but I know exactly who you're talking about.
He goes, bro, Flagrant's gonna get Trump
The
elected.
interview was fire, bro. The interview, listen, the interview was fire. I don't know what to tell you.
One recent survey conducted by the Harvard Youth Poll showed 70% of women under the age of 30 support Vice President Harris, while 23% back Trump. While 53% of men under 30 say they are likely voting Harris, and 36% say they support Trump. For more of our election coverage, download the Straight Arrow News app.